Good evening and welcome to the Job Search Solution, the radio program where we talk about looking for a job, changing jobs, changing careers, hiring. And as always, we begin with a prayer. Dear God, grant us thy peace and thy mercy, thy will be done. And in this session, I have to discuss something that you wouldn't think I'd have to discuss, but it happened just this week and I need to discuss it. And it has to do with the social interview. In this particular case, the lunch or dinner interview. I really don't like interviews that involve social interaction. Social should be social and business should be business. But in this day and age, and it's been this way for a number of years, lots of people like to take a candidate out for a lunch interview, a dinner interview, an interview with their spouses or girlfriends or boyfriends, with the spouses, girlfriends, or boyfriends of hiring authorities, and they go to a dinner or a lunch. And these things can be disastrous. I've seen situations where the candidate proceeded to get drunk. I've seen situations where the candidate's spouse proceeded to get drunk. I've seen situations where the candidate and their spouse got into an argument at dinner with the hiring authority and their entourage of people, of spouses. It just has so much of a tendency to be a disaster. My recommendation is stay away from it. Stay as far away from a social interview as you possibly can. Now, if you have no choice in doing that, then there are a couple of things to remember. Either order something very little, eat before you go, do not go and as though you were ravenous. I've had candidates lose opportunities because they ate just about everything in sight. I had a candidate a couple of weeks ago that was smart enough to order a small salad, and she didn't even touch it because she knew that she was going to be talking most of the time. It's really hard to talk with food in your mouth. Order something that isn't sloppy. Soup, spaghetti, chili, anything that could be spilled. No. Order, if you have to, a small piece of meat that can be cut up into small pieces and that you can talk around them if you need to. Don't drink. Under any circumstances, do not drink. I don't care if the hiring authority or the interviewing authority proceeds to get smashed, you don't drink. It can't help you. It can be dangerous. You could say things that they would attribute to the alcohol. There's just really no reason to do that. Order after the hiring authority or interviewing authority orders. Don't order the highest price thing on the menu. Keep it calm, keep it low-keyed, and remember, this is an interview. Any social engagement, any time where you have not gotten hired, it is an interview, no matter how social it really is. Going for drinks after work, maybe if you have to, get a small glass of wine, but nurse it for the whole evening. Don't try to add that social pressure to the interviewing situation. Even if you don't eat what you order, that's okay. Let the hiring authority or interviewing authority do that. Remember, this is an interview and it's hard to talk when you're eating. Talk about them. Ask them questions about themselves. If it's going to be a social situation, keep the conversations relatively social. If you can't do that and you get peppered with a lot of business questions, Be ready for that. But remember, this is an interview. It's not a social engagement. I've known employers that go out with socially with the candidate to see how a candidate's going to handle themselves. I had an employer one time that insisted that the candidate drive his car to wherever they were going to go to lunch just to see if the candidate kept his car in really good, clean condition and his car wasn't a mess. I've had employers take candidates to play golf just to see if they get frustrated or if they cheat on their score, just to see how they deal with the social situation. You've got to remember that you are being judged. Heck, I had a candidate one time who took his fiance, his live-in girlfriend, to the dinner with the CEO and 2 vice presidents, all of whom were married. And when they found out the guy was living with the gal, they didn't hire him because they felt like that was an immoral situation. So much of a social situation can be blown in any kind of a dinner or a lunch or a party kind of situation. Don't go to 4th of July parties. Don't go to Christmas parties. Don't go to a New Year's Eve parties. You're being judged every time that you were in front of all of these people. Before you are hired, you are being judged. You're being judged after you're hired too. But please try to stay away from these things. And if you do, really watch your manners and be very, very, very careful. For more about this, you can go to www.thejobsearchsolution.com, and I really go into detail. All right, stay tuned. This is Tony Bashara with the Job Search Solution.